Besama Ab, where world, or Mefeskadus, Adawamrak, Amen. Besama Ab, where world, or Mefeskadus, Adawamrak, Amen. Besama Ab, where world, or Mefeskadus, Adawamrak, Amen. Good morning, and blessings, and hope everyone's doing good this Friday. So, for many, it's the end of the working week, but obviously that's not the same for everyone. People have different work patterns, but whatever your stride is, whatever your trod is, I wish you a good one. So, straight in with the reading now, Numbers 29. Give thanks. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work. It is a day of blowing of trumpets to you. You shall offer a burnt offering for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without defect. And their meal offering, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of a bull, 2/10 for the ram, 1/10 for every lamb and for 7 lambs, and 1 male goat for a sin offering to make atonement for you, in addition to the burnt offering of the new moon, which is a meal offering, and to the continual burnt offering with its meal offering, and their drink offerings according to their ordinance, for a pleasant aroma, and offering made by fire to Yahweh. On the 10th day of the 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall afflict your souls. You shall do no kind of work, but you shall offer a burnt offering to Yahweh for a pleasant aroma. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect, and their meal offering, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 for a bull, 2/10 for 1 ram, 1/10 for every lamb of the 7 lambs, 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering of atonement, and a continual burnt offering, and its meal offering, and their drink offering. On the 15th day of the 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work. You shall keep a feast to Yahweh 7 days. You shall offer a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. 13 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect, and their meal offering, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 for every bull of the 13th bull, 2/10 for each ram of 2 rams, 1/10 for each lamb of the 14 lambs. 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the continual burnt offering, its meal offering, and its drink offering. On the 2nd day, let me start that one again. Verse 17. On the 2nd day you shall offer 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old without defect, and their meal offering, for their drink offering, for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, according to their number, after the ordinance, and 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the continual burnt offering and its meal offering and their drink offering. On the 3rd day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without defect, and their meal offering and their drink offerings, for the bulls, for the rams, for the lambs, according to their number, after the ordinance. 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the continual burnt offering, and its meal offering and its drink offering. On the 4th day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without defect, their meal offering and their drink offering, for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, according to their number, after the ordinance. And 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the continual burnt offerings, its meal offerings and its drink offerings. On the 5th day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without defect, and their meal offering and their drink offering, for the bull, and for the rams, and for the lambs, according to their number, after the ordinance. 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the continual burnt offering and its meal offerings and its drink offerings. On the 6th day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without defect, and their meal offering and their drink offerings, for the bull, for the rams, and for the lambs, according to their number, for the ordinance. And 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the continual burnt offering, its meal offering and drink offerings of it. On the 7th day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without defect, and their meal offerings, for their drink offerings, for the bull, for rams and lambs according to their number and their ordinance, and 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the continual burnt offerings, its meal offering and its drink offering. On the 8th day you shall have a solemn assembly. You shall do no regular work. You shall offer a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs, a year old without defect. Their meal offering and their drink offerings for the bull. For the ram and for the lamb shall be according to their number after the ordinance. Add 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the continual burnt offering, and its meal offerings and its drink offering. You should offer these things to Yahweh in your set feast, in addition to your vows and your free will offerings, for your burnt offerings, your meal offerings, your drink offerings, and your peace offerings. Moses told the children of Israel according to all that Yahweh commanded. For these few words I give thanks, blessings, and love. So incredibly detailed, and I have to be honest with you, this is one of those chapters that if I wasn't doing this in a public way, and I was reading the Bible for myself, I might not have even got through half of that, because I don't really do detail on this level and instructions on this level. If I buy a bit of furniture from IKEA, I rarely read the instructions. I try to work out how to put it up. Do you know what I mean? Me and instructions don't really mix, and this level of detail I find incredibly difficult. Some people are really tuned into this level of detail and will be trying to memorize it, but for me it just washes over. Do you know what I mean? It starts to just blend into each other, and I find it quite difficult to digest. But the overall meaning of it, excuse me, the overall meaning of it, I get, it's a continuation of yesterday. It's that level of structure that God is placing for the people, I'll put it that way, so they can see how the different offerings are to be manifested and what's needed in different iterations and different days, etc., etc. But you can also see why the priests are needed, particularly at this time, because this would have been a time before this would have been written down in this level of detail. There would have been scribes in the community, and, amongst the Levites and the priests, they will have been noting everything that Yahweh is saying to them, hence where the Bible then has come from. But obviously the Bible wouldn't have been in the form it is now during this moment, and it wouldn't have been distributed and also communicated to the people. So it would have been up for the priest to be communicating, right, today you need to do this and today you need to do that. And the people, for all the best will in the world, would have been doing what they can, but by no means will it have been to this level of observance, because, it would have been thousands and thousands of people, and, to communicate this level of detail to a whole nation orally, you can imagine what challenge that would be. So you can imagine then in later generations, eras, when the Bible's written down, these laws are written down, the impacts that had. But that's a whole other story to do with the Reformation and, even the Renaissance and Reformation of the churches. There's a whole thing there that I won't get into, because that's just a different history lesson. But yeah, it's interesting though, because even at the beginning of my morning welcome, and I said not everyone's going to be at that same pattern of Friday being the end of the working week. Some people work weekends, and they work nights, they work part-time, you might be students, you might be unemployed. Everyone's got a different trod, and you can't assume everyone is according to that same structure. And I think that's something to also recognize when it comes to spiritual structure, and even when it comes to fast and celebrations and these kind of things. Not everyone's working to a pattern where it's easy to observe certain fasts or rituals in the same way. People have different work patterns, and it might be extremely challenging. Even physical condition, being well or being not well. There's certain stipulations of who's exempt from the fast. If you're pregnant, if you're ill, have underlying conditions, etc., etc., then it's understood. It's a very pragmatic thing, and it's not meant to be, again, I'm speaking from an Ethiopian Orthodox position, it's not meant to be a one-size-fits-all. It is a case of these are the general guidance, and you heard me talk about some of them yesterday. These are the general guidance to do with fasting, to do with prayer, etc. But do what you can do. Do you know what I mean? Work to what's within your means in your life, and don't give yourself a hard time if you can't adhere to that structure. It's just there as a guidance. It's not there as a stick to beat you with. It's not meant to make you feel guilty. And it's certainly not there to make you feel like you're going to go to hell if you don't adhere to them. That's the wrong end. That's the tail wagging the dog when I believe rituals get to that level. It's like, no. And that's why, I'm not going to call out certain churches, but that's why certain churches get a harder time of critique, as they started to use those rituals as a motivation for why you would be going to hell, and for why everything you're doing is bad, everything you're doing is sinful, why you should feel bad about yourself, and that leaves you open to abuse, to be exploited, and that's often the strategy that cults use, that level of intimidation, that if you're not doing this, then, and it's only us that can tell you the truth, then you're going to go to hell, your damnation, etc., etc. So, and I think we could all recognize that pattern of critique of certain religious practices, where it gets to that level of manipulation. And for me, again, I'm very pleased and comfortable with what I've seen within Ethiopian Orthodox tradition and Rastafari, that it's not that. It's a much more, these are the guidance, but again, it's your life. You have to make it work and balance in a common sense way. And I find that beautiful balance. So, yeah. I'm going to end there. I never know where these reasonings are going to end up, or what's going to come out my mouth. So I just pray that it makes sense and it resonates in some kind of way. So yes, just have a beautiful day, whatever structure of the path and the trod that you're on. Have a beautiful Friday. If it is Friday when you're watching this, because obviously I know people watch these on different days, and whenever you watch them, but whatever day it is for you, I hope it lands well. Give thanks, blessings, and love, and God willing, I'll be back more tomorrow. Give thanks.